This is the most insane sample pack we have ever released. All of these demos were made using samples from the Solstice beta pack. So this is one of the most insane royalty-free packs we've ever dropped, with 60 royalty-free melodies and over 5 gigabytes of samples. But the part that really makes this thing special is we didn't want to do just another pack based on the most popular sounds. We were actually looking a lot into our hidden gems on SoundCloud, songs we've listened to for the past decade, and kind of that special song that might not have a lot of plays, but you've been listening to it for years. Everybody has that like gold on their playlist, and what all the producers on our team did, we kind of looked around at what songs and what amazing pieces of music have maybe been forgotten about, or what type of sound was like popular maybe like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, but maybe got forgotten. And what we did was we looked at all different corners of inspiration and decided to do a lot of brand new unique stuff, as well as study what's happening at the tip top of the industry right now. And I think the cool thing about this pack is it's a fusion of these old forgotten gems and this new crispy popular high fidelity sound, and what you're getting in this pack is a mixture of both. And everything you see in this video is 100% for free. There's a link in the description. Make sure you pick up this beta pack, and if you like it, the full version will have over 350 melodies as well as nearly 30 gigabytes of samples. Here's a little taste of the Vapor Vintage folder. Super vibey. We got some really unique folders, like the Sunset Collection is actually based off of the popular group Odessa, which has a bunch of fucking super vibey electronic music. See, something like this is fucking beautiful, but it can go in a lot of different directions, right? So even just out of hearing that, when you're listening to a loop, you're not just listening to a loop, you're listening to a bunch of different musical ideas right away. Let me just pull in the stem layers and play piece by piece. Like I can just build right there off one layer. It's a completely different vibe than when it's all together, right? And that's the cool thing about these things. You can mix and match different stem layers. Each melody loop is actually like 10 different inspirations, because you can just grab a specific stem layer, or you can also just grab the MIDI from that loop itself and build something completely from scratch. Let me pair the vocal with it and pitch it just to see how this sounds. You can just have fun playing with the layers, okay? That's the thing I love about our production suites. They just give you so much access to each part of the sound that you're not force committed to any direction. All right, London Party Collection. This folder is straight up based on Fredigan. We're big fans of Fredigan. He's been absolutely killing it, and he has a bunch of cool sounds. Let me show off some trap too. I gotta really give it to our team. A lot of our guys are using real synthesizers these days and processing stuff with hardware. So if you go into something like the Synth Collection, you're getting a very authentic sound. I'll play a few of them. So there's a little secret behind the scenes at Cymatics. We have slowly been building up an incredible vocal team. We actually want one of the best vocal teams in the entire world. So we've been hiring engineers and finding a lot of different male and female singers to work with. So not only does that give us cool material to create little vocal loops with, like these. Every day I see you, so time. But we also have full acapellas, dry and wet. You said you'd be back tomorrow. Heaven isn't so far away. So you essentially are getting the full rights to use those acapellas for your tracks. And we've had big artists like Tiesto use one of our vocal samples for his hit song Boom. We've had other producers like Kavion use our vocals and Slushy on entire releases. And the fact that this stuff is royalty free really gives you kind of like a unique edge to build your full tracks without even needing a vocalist. Or if you're somebody who's making beats, a lot of times you can use, let's say, one of the rap acapellas as essentially a placeholder to make sure you're leaving enough pocket for a singer. And then when you go to export the track, just take it out. I'll show you a beat I made with the vocalist from this pack. So this is actually a loop I worked on with one of our producers where we had actually built this whole beat around this acapella. And I'm going to show you, I'm just going to mute it and show you how instantly you have a beat that has enough room for a singer or a rapper.
Got that blicky on me, got that sticky on me. When it's time for us to slide, don't get trippy on me.
If you just mute it, you know, it's got the right room it needs. Why? Because you built it with a singer or a cappella essentially in mind to leave that room. One thing I want to talk about that really shines in this collection is actually we added a lot of guitarists to our team and sort of changed the direction on guitars to add just as much emotion and feeling. Everything from the pop folder to the festival collection to the guitar collection to even the R&B stuff has a lot of new guitar influences, right? And you can really hear it. So I'm going to play one of the festival loops and I want to show you how not only do you have the drop sections, you also have other instrumental sections to build off, so you really have a lot of freedom. So there's like the drop part, but listen to how beautiful just the guitar sound. I actually heard that loop that a couple guys on my team work with, and over the weekend we actually worked on this record, and just listen to how it came together from that loop. It's those guitars right there. Give it everything. It's really simple drums. Essentially, the loop had so much material to work with that we were able to just kind of piggyback off of it, start working with the vocalist, and essentially make this really, really incredible record that was inspired actually off of Avicii. And fun fact, this actually entire festival collection is based on artists like Avicii and Kygo. I actually watched the Avicii documentary and showed kind of how he blew up, and he just had this amazing sound. And a lot of his hits are from like 10 years ago, but honestly, this sound was like so memorable. It was like really catchy, right? And we wanted to have a lot of that influence in the festival collection. So you'll be able to kind of play around with these types of sounds and see what you do with it. Also, if you want to go to a different universe, hop in the ambient folder. There's so much emotion in these melodies. Let me just show you. A lot of this stuff, the reason we're providing so many melodic inspirations is that you can essentially take something like this and take it to any style you want. If you wanted to make a hard beat with this, you could. If you wanted to make something super chill and lo-fi, you could do that. You could turn this into something for like pop music even if you wanted to. Or you can take like a little element and do something experimental. Like the one of the things I just heard from that was this layer right here. Just from one little layer, you can take it into a cool direction. So I'm excited to see what you guys do with this, because honestly, there's no rules, right? We just give you this entire creative palette, and the job is to like take that to wherever direction you kind of feel like it. I can't go over everything in this video. There is a lot more to come when it comes to melodies, but I want to move on to drums and some of the other special folders. And then honestly, it's time for you to get off this video, download the pack, and just start making music. Drums. Okay, so one cool thing is drum loops have now been categorized into their specific folders. So if you want lo-fi drum loops, you can kind of just hop in, right? If you want to get some trap drum loops, you got those as well. And something I really like to do is I kind of just like to take out specific layers, because just how you have full access on the melody side, we do the same thing for the drum loops. So if I were to pull everything in, that right there makes these drum loops really busted. Because if I just want to take out all the hi-hats, like I can play with it, I can mix and match loops. It really gives you, like I said, that full creative freedom. And that's one of our main goals with this thing, is essentially not to restrict people, but also give them a lot of different directions they can go in with their sound. Something that's brand new is actually the drum accents folder. So these are going to be little details you can sprinkle on top of your drums just to give them a little bit of a vibe. For example, here's some snare rolls. Percussion fills. Hi-hat rolls, drum fills, Before I wrap up here, there's a lot of stuff. 808s, our effects folder is absolutely huge. You have tonal, ambient, strike, various effects, reverse effects, even cinematic impacts. I don't want to spoil everything. It's a free pack, so go download it and kind of dive in. But one thing I do want to talk about is, one, we are building Life 2. So if you guys remember Life, it was one of our most popular ambient packs. And essentially, we get producers from all over the world to go get high quality recordings in different locations, where you can just lay this stuff down on the back of your beats. And if you get the EQ right, you can add just a very humanistic texture and emotion to anything. I'll play a couple. Don't sleep on this shit. I swear, I use Life recordings all the time. A lot of times you can even sidechain it to the kick and stuff, and it sounds sick. The last thing I want to dive into in this pack, if you're somebody who wants a unique sound, a lot of times one-shots can actually be one of the best ways to get a unique sound in your melodies. So it's stuff like this. One of the reasons these one-shots are so special is that there's a lot of unique processing and imperfection baked into the sample itself. So when you end up playing that stuff across a keyboard or using the MIDI, you get instantly these interesting stuff without having to do tons of different sound design. Let me show you. Like, there's so much emotion. I didn't even do anything. I'm just playing the stock sample, and it already... This one sample has so much baked into it. But let me go ahead and grab some MIDI so I can take it kind of to the next level. See, these combinations are really, we're going to have a lot of fun. I'll pull in some more. Ooh. As you can see, you can get a lot of different sounds out of just using one-shots. And to be honest with you, I've actually moved away. I used to be a big fan of Omnisphere, but lately, just because of workflow-wise, I've just been using one-shots because it keeps the ideas flowing so much. And all those little happy accidents that are baked into the processing of the sample end up adding really cool texture to your melodies, like right away, right? Like, not every sample sits perfectly on C. Sometimes they drift just a little bit out. And when you apply that, you know, to everything, you just get this like very interesting sound. This is literally one of the most creative, inspiring free packs we've ever done. I highly suggest downloading this thing and just diving in and going to different folders that you just don't normally go into, because you're going to be making a lot of cool music, especially if you're stuck in like writer's block, or you're just, you know, maybe you're getting off school for the summer. You guys want a lot of new stuff to play with. Either way, you're going to have a lot of fun using this pack. Everything is royalty free, meaning you can use the vocals, release them as your own songs. You can build brand new tracks. You can flip things. You can sell beats. You can get stuff on Spotify. You can get sync deals. Everything you want to. A Cymatics license is provided. That includes the paid stuff and the free stuff. So don't be afraid to drop things with these samples. And one last note, the full version of Solstice will only be 1,000 licenses, and it is absolutely critical that you get onto the waiting list. The waiting list essentially gives you a 1-hour head start before the public release, and usually packs like this sell out in only 1 day. So if you want to get the full version on June 14th, it's critical you get on that waiting list. Just put in your name, email, and phone number, and you'll get essentially an email and a text 1 hour before the public release. This gives you a chance to pick it up. You actually get an exclusive USB if you're one of the first 250 people to order, and you get a free plugin that I have not said anything about yet called Dark Sky. That's actually really incredible. That's going to take every single sound in here and give you limitless possibilities to do more stuff with those sounds. Anyways, get ready for the full version of Solstice, and I can't wait to hear what you make with this pack. Peace out.